Okay, guys, welcome back to Reffing with the Sappers. I'm gonna be your center referee today. And guys, I know it's been a while, but I'm finally back. Speech and debate season is over, at least for me. Now I'm on basketball, but I'm gotta take one problem at a time. So today we're going to be reviewing a game with Roseville Premier as the home team. They're gonna be in black, and West Sacramento, who's gonna be away in white. And this was a U11 Girls, but let's just get right into it. So for today's game, as I've already mentioned, I'm going to be in the center, and this illustrious boy over here, is going to be at the far side. So let's just get this game started. So for the first call of the match, it's going to be a charge. And you can see here that the girl just looked at the player, didn't even try going through the ball, even gives like a little bit of elbow. And I immediately call that. You can see me going for the whistle, and I think that that is a good call.
Yep.
Our next decision is going to be a no call on the field. So right here we can see that she falls down, but when we replay it, to me, it doesn't look like any of the defense, like their arm motions don't stop, like they're constantly going like this, so it doesn't look like there was a shove. And typically, like if someone like trips another person or gets their legs interlocked, there'd be a stumble in the running motion, but it doesn't look like that at all. And just as like a side note, this field wasn't really like smooth, it was really choppy. So I think this might have just been a stumble on the offensive part instead of it being a foul on the defense. So I think that this is a good no call.
I agree.
Our next decision is going to be a handball. So right there, just hits the white girl's player on the elbow on the way out. Right there, her hand was like this, so clearly an unnatural position. So this is a good call.
Yep.
Two in a row, we've got another handball. So there's going to be a throw, and right here I'm signaling because there's subs on this side of the field. I'm just saying one more play. She throws it in, and the girl in the black jersey puts her hands out like this. Well, usually, as like I'm pointing out over here, she's got usually like this, like right close up to the face is allowed, but we can see from this camera angle that her hands were more like this out, which is making your body unnaturally bigger and isn't like flush to your chest, which would be protecting your body and wouldn't be a handball. So since her arms were out like this, that is a handball. Our next decision is going to be a no call. So on here we can see two people joshing for the ball, and there's a sequence of things that happens here. So in the first part, she pushes the white girl off of the ball, and I think that at least in this level this should be called as a push, so I think that I got that part wrong. And then there's this part right here where she kind of grabs her arm and throws her behind her, so that would also be considered a foul. And I totally missed this because I was just in the wrong position on the field because I was looking kind of like through their shoulders rather than looking at what was in between them like this camera is able to do because it's just in the right position. So I totally screwed up on that one.
All right.
So just a few moments later, there's another no call. You can see two people coming up for the ball and they both fall down. Now, this to me looks more like a 50-50 rather than anything else. They're going shoulder to shoulder and they just hit each other, and because of their momentum, they end up falling down. I If I were to call a foul, I honestly don't know who I would give it to at that moment. So I think that that's a good no call.
Yeah. Our next moment happens just a few seconds later. Black is on the attack here. They drop kicked it from the far end of the field. They're coming down here, and then right here, the ball gets kicked, and the keeper picks it up. Now, from my angle, I actually thought this white defender had kicked it back to this keeper on purpose. If we flash forward here, we'll see that I actually call Katie over and try to explain to her that I think it was a pass back and, just want to confirm whether or not she saw it the same way that I did. So that's when Katie, you pointed out.
That Black is actually attacking, and since they kicked the ball, then it can't be a pass back to the keeper because that's only when the defense kicks it back.
Well, Our next decision is a couple minutes later. It's an offside on my end of the field where I was the assistant referee. We can see here black is on the attack. They've got the ball over here, and it's going to come through to this player over here in an offside position. So right here, when we play this, comes through. She comes back to get the ball. Pretty easy for me to call.
Yep.
And we go straight up for the indirect free kick for Katie.
What what follows next is a funny little sequence followed by a foul. So right here, the players they kick it towards me. And so I just turn into like a little crescent shape to escape them because the ball's flying towards me. I want to be that one referee that like they hit the ball and it hits them because they didn't get out of the way fast enough. hmm So I just turned to like a little crescent shape. I would like it to be known. I would make a great like dodgeball player with those type of moves. Like turn it back. I could even be a ballerina. Like, did you see those tippy toes? Like, dang. Also, the thighs be popping right now. Like the muscle on those based on the camera angle. Whoa, I wish I had that right now. COVID did a number on me. Anyway, so followed by this little sequence and me dodging like a little crescent shaped moon. We've got this. They're both joshing, and the white player just pushes the black player right in the back. And she stumbles a little bit forward, and I immediately call that for a push in the back. Directly off the foul previously called, we've got a something that leads into PK. So the black player kicks it, but right there, the white player has their arm out like this. From this angle, it kind of looks like closer, but you can see that it's actually like this. And so her arm is extended. I've got a really good angle on it looking in. So I can immediately tell that she goes like this. I immediately call it seeing that for a PK for the black team. Following the PK, we've got this really rare thing happen. So let's call it. Also, one thing before we actually play, I would like to comment on my positioning. I'm on that side of the field. Oh, that side of the field based on this camera. I'm on this side of the field, but I should actually be on that side of the field so I can be looking at my AR. So in the future, I'll make sure to go on that side of the field. But we see the PK happen and it hits the crossbar. But what you're not allowed to do in soccer is double touch the ball. So, for instance, you go for a foul from a normal place, you kick the ball, you're not allowed to like continue dribbling it. And the same goes for PK. So if the goalie doesn't save it and it like hits the crossbar back at you, you're not allowed to kick the ball again because that's considered a double touch. So I immediately call that right after when I see it, and a really rare thing that happens in soccer that I was able to call in this game.
So I just want to say, because stuff like this happens so rarely, it's hard to really know those types of rules at just have them at the tip of your mind whenever these types of rare situations happen. So I was super proud of Katie at this moment when this happened because I actually thought most referees her age would, and experience level, would look at that and say, "Oh, that's legal play. Go ahead and let it play." And then I was going to have to call her over and say, "No, no, no, she can't do that." So the fact that she immediately called it, I was like, it was a proud dad moment. Definitely had the proud dad flex.
hmm Our next decision is going to be a charge on the keeper. So they're going up, but the black player actually ends up charging into the keeper even after she's gained possession. Now, typically, you would think of, you know, drawing back because the keeper is clearly going to gain possession, but at this low of a skill level, that's not really something that these kids consider. One thing that I considered was giving a yellow card for this, but I was looking at like the temperature of the game, the skill level, and I instead decided to warn the player instead of giving out a card. So I head over, I one, make sure that the keeper is okay, and then two, I have a conversation with the AR, and then I have a conversation with the player after calling on the coach. And then I basically just have a conversation with the player saying that that was like a really dangerous situation and just make sure to pull back in those situations because if like she does it again, I'm going to card that player because at that point, one, I was already on the fence about it, and two, it would be a consistent behavior. And I have this conversation with the player instead of giving the card, and I also think that that is a good decision on my part. And the coach actually came up to us after the game and thanked me for not immediately going to a card for the player because he knew that that could have been a possibility, and instead thanked me for actually like teaching his player what to do instead of giving the card immediately. So I also think that that is great game management.
A little bit later, we've got a call when the ball's down here on the far end of the field, right in front of me as the assistant referee. The ball just kind of gets kicked up, hits this girl's hand directly in front of me. You can see her arm is way out, totally in unnatural position. Ball drops right down at her feet, too. So I signal, wiggle the flag for Katie because I wasn't sure if she had the best angle on it, though from here we can see she could have seen it.
I was already calling it.
You were calling it anyway, so yeah, those are the easy ones.
The last call before halftime is going to be another handball. So I'm blocking the view, but like I'm like right in front of it. So we're just gonna trust my judgment on the field. So it just like pops up, hits their hand, goes down. We can also see like just the change in momentum from the ball. And I'm going to count that as a good call because I was right in front of it, and you guys can't see it because I was right in front of it. It went right towards me. That's solid. I would just like casually like pick that up. Like that was smooth.
As Katie blew this dead for halftime, one thing I want to point out here is that I go over and I talk to this coach. He had been kind of complaining that he thought there was more pushes happening of his players than were necessary. And really, as we've kind of seen here through this match, in this review, there's really only been the one that was missed. And so the others have all been kind of okay, there's been some 50-50 challenges. There was some light challenges that we weren't even enough for us to put as a review here. We didn't even mark them to review. And those were all kind of things he was complaining about. So you'll see, I come over, I talk to him a little bit, and then I ask him, is it okay if I touch you and show you what I saw? Right. And so you see, I stand beside him there, and then, we're kind of touching each other a little bit. And I'm basically saying there's a difference between kind of feeling the space here. Like right now, I'm feeling where Katie is, and if she starts to lean over, then my
Not first episode. Not these
no,
feelings
no,
yet.
no.
No.
But lean over a
They're
little
giving
bit.
me
Lean over a little
PTSD.
bit. So if she leans over a little bit, then my hand will go with her, and it looks like a push when she actually just threw herself over it.
Would I ever?
Right? But and there's a difference between that and me. Oh,
Oh shit.
that was so much worse than it was meant to be.
Wasn't even intentional.
So I was trying to explain to the coach that there's a difference between those two things, and so anyway, I didn't push him as hard as I pushed him apparently, but
Wonderful.
yes, we had that discussion in it.
But with that push against me, let's get the second half started. First half. 8 minutes into the second half, and we finally got our first call. So right there is a push. We can see that the white player goes in a little bit and throws her off. So this is a clear push, and I call it immediately. Our next decision is going to be a double touch, but with like a few added things. So we've got a goal kick that's happening right now. And we can see that the goalie tries to touch it to, get the ball moving and for it not to be a double touch and for her falling defense to just dribble it up as she does. But the law of the game says that the ball clearly has to move for the ball to be in play. We can see that the goalie clearly doesn't make the ball move. And so when her partner is dribbling up the ball, that now becomes a double touch, and I call that. And my AR then calls me over because I call that as a double touch. And they say something to like the extent of like just let them redo it. So I end up letting them redo it because this is U11 girls. So at this level, I thought that it would be better to just let them redo the kick.
And I think there's an element here of applying Law 18, which is spirit of the game or common sense, whichever you want to say. Of, look, this isn't the best field, and the grass was really long too, right? And so,
Yeah.
on a better kept field, that same amount of force on that kick, the ball probably would have rolled,
Yeah.
right? Versus here, it just stayed where it was. So, yeah, I think that's a good explanation. And you knew what the letter of the law says. You applied some law 18 on top of it.
Yep.
That's good.
Our next decision is going to be a push in the back. So right here we can see that the white player slightly shoves the black player in the back right there. It's really slight, but at the same time, I didn't want her to be intentionally, shoving at this level of the game because right now, as we can see, they're within a one score differential. And so I didn't want that to become even worse at later points in the game. So I decided to call that as a foul, which I think is a good decision because it was one of the last decisions of the half is going to be a handball. So the white player picks it up. It just hits number 14's elbow when her hand's in an unnatural position, so that's a pretty obvious handball. Our last decision of the half, unfortunately, is what we are going to be considering a bad call. So a throw in happens and it immediately hits number 13's area right here, armpit area, but hits her hand. I should have called this. It's pretty obvious, but from this angle, I think I'm way out on the field over here. Well, I did that as a no call, probably because I didn't have a good angle on it. We can't really see because the camera even zoomed out doesn't show me. But that's going to be a wrong decision and a deduction. So with that, that ends the game.
Nice, lady.
So with 20 decisions and 2 deductions, that gives us a final score of 90%. So this constitutes a good game, which, it was pretty good, only 2 deductions. So I think that that is a pretty good game.
It seemed like there was a lot more, contentiousness here than you get with a lot of U11 girls in this
Yep.
game. But a lot of good things to learn from here. Like you did a fantastic job there on the penalty kick and some other difficult calls. So definitely learning and applying yourself in the center roles.
Yep. Well, make sure to watch the bloopers, guys. I'm watching you. I'm watching you from the beyond. I know if you don't watch the bloopers, and you better watch the bloopers. So tune in next Friday to see our next game review or Sapper Short, as we are now calling that. I'm Katie,
And I'm Scott.
and we'll
See
see you
you
on
on
the
the
pitch.
pitch.
I'm out. I'm free. Bye, guys. I'll probably see you in another month.
Sure.
Okay, guys. Before we started this recording, I'm not gonna lie. I stepped into like the booth, the ground freezing. I don't know what happened. Cold. Cold. My
Good to hear.
footsies, my little footsies. Oh, but look at these cute socks. Like, not socks, but like, you know what I mean. Yeah. So, hi guys. It's nice to see you again. I'm back, baby. Back from the grave. More accurately, speech and debate season over, basketball season starting. Oof. I was I was out of shape. I was more out of shape than I thought I was, which was really weird. And then I got COVID this Thanksgiving break. You know, not exactly the best. What are you doing? What
You
are you
told me
doing?
you told me
What
to
are
play
you
it. You told
doing?
me to play it.
What are you doing? Okay, because like for that one, the second one, you don't need to keep replaying it.
Okay.
It looks like on the pitch. Okay, maybe that looks a little bit damning. That's a little bit damning.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But this is why they shouldn't put me on U16 girl NPLs. um
I'm learning.
now the better question was it offside?
That's very good.
Dad, you're off the line by a lot.
I'm on the line with her. Why am I on the line with her?
We're sure that black is offense, right? Not offense, defense, right? Yeah, wait's going that way.
So I was on the right spot.
Because
So
black is going that way.
Black's
Black
attacking.
is going that
All
way.
right, so she's onside. Okay, and I was in the right position because I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. I'm not that far off. Okay. Like I'm not as good of an AR as you are, but there's no way I'm that far off.
I would like it to be known that the only reason we did this was because of my observation.
Hmm.
Well, yeah.
You just wanted to show that your paw was wrong.
Yes.
All right.
So, this is going to be a non-existent call because guess what? This isn't going to be a decision, but it's going to be in the bloopers because I can play it. I would like it to be known. I would make a great I would make a great dodgeball player. Because guess what? Play that slow-mo. Play that slow-mo. It goes and curved right out of the way. We're going into like a crescent shape over here.
Look at that!
I could be a ballet dancer with those like tippy toes. Like, damn, like
I'm glad,
bruise on my ass now.
I'm glad you're okay.
This is giving me flashbacks. Flashbacks. Okay. Okay. What episode is that where you pushed me?
I can't remember. One
It
of the
was like
early
it was like
episodes,
episode 8 or something.
3 or something.
We're getting flashbacks here. We're getting flashbacks. This is the PTSD I have from this channel.